You want to talk about a problem, wrapped by a problem, within a problem, surrounded by a problem, multiplied by a problem. That's where we're at this morning, people. It is Thursday, the 14th of April, 2022. I noticed I was 2 years off in yesterday's date. Anyway, I know where we're at. I know what time it is. And I know what they tell us the time is. Social media platforms, the big ones, are on the warpath. They are scrubbing. They are scrubbing any mention of the bomb I dropped on you guys yesterday in the link provided below in yesterday's podcast. And they are taking out channels. I had Casino Gangster, a sub of mine, recommend I post a link or talk about it. By the time I got to it, channel removed for violating YouTube terms of service. So there's quite a risk out here now. This is hot. This is a hot potato. And it's going to cause difficulties in trying to discuss that. Now, I'll tell you what, people. Let me bring this up real quick. Almost 50 views on my podcast yesterday, and 4 thumbs up? Really? That's it? 4 thumbs up? Now, what am I supposed to make of that? Bunch of bullshit? You guys didn't watch it? You watched it, didn't understand it? I don't know. I'm going to have to add to my long title, you know the one, flexible, fluid, extremely humble, and now sensitive watchman on the wall. I'm thinking some of you guys are thinking, boy, you sure went a long ways from flexible, fluid, extremely humble, and now sensitive to an arrogant effing know-it-all. Well, I hope it doesn't appear that way. I want to give you accurate information the best I can, and I want to brag a little bit. I think my certainty in the accuracy level hovers around 99.9%. So if you want to call that arrogance, go ahead. But you know what? It all comes down to, how do you allocate your time? Now, first of all, before I get into that, how you allocate your time, if you didn't watch yesterday's link, you're going to be lost. You might just as well switch off right here and right now, because I'm going to discuss it, but I'm going to have to discuss it through an analogous way, because they're not going to let you discuss it point by point what was stated. And by the way, that was part 1 of a 3-part series. Part 3 is out at the same location. So you might want to check that out. Definitely you should watch part 2 and part 3. Interesting. It's an interesting channel, and it's private. Can't be touched, can't be censored. So how do you allocate your time? Well, let's use an analogy. Let's use a sports analogy, because I am surrounded by sports fans. All right. And everybody, who doesn't like football? Who doesn't like the NFL? Nobody I know of, except maybe me. All right, so let's use the NFL. Very popular. Last year, I can't tell you with certainty, but I do believe interdivisional teams play each other twice. I don't know what the Mona Corona going on and the bullshit, if they got to do that. If they extended games, took a few away, I don't know. But let's use the Minnesota Vikings. Should have played the Green Bay Packers on a normal year twice in the season. Am I right? So let's say they did last year. Well, that was last year, people. And you spent about 3.5 hours or more of your time watching the Minnesota Vikings lose or beat the Green Bay Packers. What's the takeaway there? Well, it's now the 14th of April, 2022. What did that do for you? Did that push you further down the road? Are you a smarter, brighter bulb in the line of bulbs out there in the mainstream? Come on, people, think about it. Now, you know what I hear? Well, you know what? Some of us got to work for a living. Boy, do I hear that a lot. Thrown right in my face on a regular basis. Yes, some of you do have to work for a living. I got that. I should be working for a living. Nevertheless, how do you allocate the time when you're not working for your living? Are you binge watching Netflix? Really? Talking about the latest series on Netflix? Are you now? Too much time on the video games? Too much time watching 24-hour sports presentations? Unbelievable. Allocation of your time. I choose to allocate my time in different directions. We'll just leave it at that so I don't offend anyone. And because of my newfound sensitivity, I don't get offended in the process. Okay, so if you didn't watch this link that I provided yesterday, by your own choice, by exercising your own free will, with the exception of ranchers, and I'm going to add to that, dog owners. Oh man, in a blizzard, with nothing better to do. Hey, by the way, the bottom feeder pit was open. You know, it never ceases to amaze me that nobody can get to work, nobody can get to the credit union, so I can pick up my few shekels because the Eagles shat yesterday. But everybody can make it to the bar. And no, it wasn't just ranchers, thankfully, coming in to get off sale because they're dropping cabs like flies. No, these people stuck around. It was impressive to see. Amazing. It's going to be a difficult podcast for you because you're not going to know how I'm referring to all the cool information that was provided in yesterday's link. Now, for those of you who did watch it, there was the terminology, the big words. Yeah, they were intensive, no argument. But I think both presenters, the interviewer and the guy with the information, did a very good job of stopping and explaining and defining their terms. As I said yesterday in yesterday's podcast, if you pick up a chemistry book and you know the definition of those words in that chemistry book, you know chemistry, people. Tell me it isn't so. Okay. And this is going to just be a tough one. Speaking of the blizzard yesterday, I know some of you guys thought I'm going to do a weather rant first thing off this morning. No, I'm not. I'm a little disappointed because I'm proud, okay, it's going to sound arrogant, of my vast vocabulary. And I mean this, I have a great vocabulary when it comes to dirty words, curse words, swear words. And I simply cannot find words to describe my feelings of yesterday's blizzard, continuing on today, to describe how I feel about it. Yeah, I'm going to have to work on making up some new dirty words, because the old ones, no matter how you string them together, ain't making it. Alright, and now, I told you, take a look at the snow. I don't have a chemistry lab here. I don't have any way to go out there and pick up a handful of snow and analyze it, but I will make an observation. When I left the bottom feeder pit on Tuesday when it all started, people, that was ice nucleation. And if you don't know what ice nucleation is, Dane Winnington on Geoengineering Watch talks about it all the time. Well, I'm not even going to have you do the Google. I'm just going to read a real quick one here from Wikipedia, source of all knowledge. There are a number of mechanisms of ice nucleation, Nucleation, in the atmosphere through which ice nuclei can catalyze the formation of ice particles in the upper atmosphere. Troposphere. Got it? And then you manipulate that with a little bit of EMF, also known as, in this case, microwave radiation, also known as ionospheric heaters, and voila, you get the phenomena I experienced on Tuesday. Yeah, little teeny styrofoam looking, ice cold, slippery little devils pelting you all the way home. So there it is. What I saw falling yesterday sure looked like the snow in my old days. Yeah, it did. I could see identifiable flakes. I'm not going to beat a dead horse here, people. But you use the ice nucleation process to get the ball rolling. And then, once you prime the pump, let me put it that way. Poor analogy, but we'll go with that because you understand my point. Then other things take over. Yep. So, where do we want to go with that one now? Talking about yesterday's podcast with the incredible link, people. If you don't think that was an incredible link, if you're not stimulated and you haven't already watched part 2 on the same channel, and now part 3 just came out, either late last night or early this morning. This is about 1:15. I'm doing this on Thursday. You don't know what you're missing. It's like the Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. And I'm telling you, it's all voluntary. You guys simply do not want to understand it. If that's your case, that's your case. And I told you earlier, you don't have to listen to all this fluff right now. You could have switched off, because you're not going to learn much. Okay, you need to learn the terms we've talked about. And this is the best part, people, how all these podcasts join together, even though they seem random. No, they're very related. Whether I'm talking about scriptures, and I'll tell you what, people, the English Bibles, they're just fine. They're just fine to start out with. You know what I mean? You got a new infant here. your infant mind. You don't feed an infant steak. You feed it milk, and they grow on the milk, and then you start to introduce the solids. Then you get them up to the meat category. So by all means, if it's a foreign book to you, get back into it. You'll learn something. Trust me on that one. You're going to need to learn these terms. Like I said about chemistry, you know the name of the terms. You know what's going on. Because Team Evil plays by the rules. It's not their fault. You don't know and understand what they're saying. So terms like luciferase, terms like hydrogel, we talked about them in my previous podcasts. Did you forget about them? Nanotech, you're going to have to really cement that in your mind. Nanobots, you know what nanobots are? Microscopic little robots. Smart dust, yeah, that's high tech. Very small. Nanocarriers and their payload. Nanocarriers, if you understand them, wrapped in hydrogel, you'll understand how what was discussed in that link, how it gets to you through whatever medium, water being a perfectly good one, and we just talked about that 2 days ago. What's in your water, people? You're going to grow a garden. You might want to find out. And another point there is getting certain, how do I say this? I got to be so careful. Toxins into our bodies. Reptiles. You know what I'm saying? Hint, hint, wink, wink. Do they shed their skin? Oh, yes, they do. Was there any talk over the last 2 years about viral loads and viral shedding? You ring any bells? Okay, put the two together, kind of go where I'm going at. Yeah, sad but true. So I'm going to use a little analogy here. The old school science is far superior to the modern science, people. The old school science was a discipline. The modern science is a religion. Science so-called in the Bible. Scientism, yeah. Not all priests wear their collars backwards. Many wear white lab coats. So using an analogy, and this is kind of disappointing too, because Dean Winnington at geoengineeringwatch.org came out with a midweek video on his channel, geoengineeringwatch.org, and I'm very disappointed. Now, you know, you hate to stand on the wall and take pot shots at other wonderful watchmen on the wall doing their part. But god damn it, get your shit right. So he features a former NASA engineer. Big whoop-de-doo, and I mean whoop-de-doop-de-doo. You know, did he have a doctor title in front of his name? I missed it if he did. And I've never seen so much nuclear nonsense, so much radiation scare scam bullshit. And I'm very disappointed in that particular podcaster. So, let me give you an example. They're talking about body burden. I'm trying to make this quick because we're going to try to tie this all together to the bombshell I dropped on you yesterday. The maximum radiation exposure to this new UVC, ultraviolet, ultraviolet C, is no more than 0.1 microwatts per hour. And if you're out there for 8 hours, well, you can see how this is going to accumulate and cause a body burden. But what kind of a measurement system is that? I mean, that's like going furlongs per fortnights. I mean, who's going to understand that? People, you have 100-watt bulbs all over your homes, do you not? Or they're 75s or 50s. We're talking about 0.1 microwatt. Give me a break, an effing break. White light. White light is composed of the colors of the rainbow. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. The rainbow, remember? Creator put it out there as a sign. Yeah, who commandeered it and for what cause do we see the rainbow flag flash in our face today? Something to think about. I don't think the Creator is very happy about someone absconding with his rainbow and using it for that disgusting program. Okay, so this kind of talk coming up from geoengineeringwatch.org reminds me of the old goddamn radon scam of the 80s. That scam fleeced a lot of homeowners out of a lot of money. It really did. radon abatement programs. They'd come down and put radon putty in the cracks in your basement to get rid of that deadly radon. Well, how did they know you had it in the first place? Well, you probably went to a Home Depot or Menards. You bought your cheap radon test kit, which was a cloud chamber. You opened it up, you slapped it in your basement for a few days, sealed it back up, mailed it to some XYZ company on the East Coast or on the West Coast, and days later your results came in. By God, dude, son of a bitch, you got a radon problem, or N222, don't you know? So then you call a EPA-approved, licensed, and certified radon abatement contractor. And he comes in there, looks at your results, and says, "You're lucky I'm here, dude, because for about another $15,000, I'm going to fix your basement. I'm going to caulk it real good with radon-resistant putty." Here's the rub. The cloud chamber, in modern terms, people talking about yesterday's podcast, think RT-PCR test. Yeah, because what this did is it told you when you put it in your basement where radon was, but not where it is today. But all you had to do is walk through your basement, kick up a little airflow as you're moving through the basement, and the Rn-222 readily picks up an extra electron and turns into helium. You have a helium problem in your basement. Yet thousands of people were fleeced and scammed good piles of money by unscrupulous EPA-certified licensed contractors. What's the takeaway here, people? You're going to have to learn the terms, you're going to have to pay attention, and you're going to have to allocate your time a little bit better. Yes, I see I'm running long. This is not a rant. It's I'm trying to be informative. We're fed bullshit, people. I've told you that all these podcasts of mine interconnect. Yes, government lies. Yes, media lies. Yes, social media platforms control everything you hear. So we got to do something about it. And I'm very restricted. I could lose my channel. You know what the heck? Okay, I still got stuff to do. Oh man, I ran late.